Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Thunderstorm, the semi-regular podcast where we all get together, we talk about some things, and this time around we're going to be talking about some MMOs, massively multiplayer online RPGs, and the best way to do that is together. So with me are my friends, Kaznarius.
Hi guys, I love the World of Warcraft battle chest.
Sliv.
Me.
And as always, our unnamed guest.
Guys, they're keeping me in a basement, forcing me to talk about their shitty hobbies. Please help.
And I'm Rin, and let's just get right into it.
Well, this has been a riveting discussion. See you next time.
Thanks for taking part in this discussion. Have a good night.
You can follow us on Twitter, THNDR CLUB. I actually got it right that time. I've been practicing. Suck my sack. See you later, everyone.
Oh, don't forget, you can also catch us on Twitch once in a fucking never at twitch.tv/thunderclub.
What MMOs has everyone played here? I want to know everyone's MMO rap sheet.
Okay. I have a number, I guess. I want to point out that pretty much none of us have ever gotten to like super like end game states of MMOs. Like,
yeah,
a lot of us have hit max level and things, but none of us have been like serious hardcore raiders or anything. So we're not that well versed as maybe we should be, but you know, whatever. I have played. So I've played World of Warcraft. I have played Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, RuneScape, and Fliff. And I know there's some other free ones that don't matter.
Because they're not Fliff.
Yeah. Just because I don't remember them. I know I've tried a bunch of free-to-play ones when I was a child. None of them were good, or I stuck with them.
I've played Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings, Online, Neverwinter Nights, and RuneScape.
Oh, I did play Neverwinter Nights, and I did play like 1-2 hours of Lord of the Rings Online one time.
Was it?
A little bit
It
all
was
over.
bad, I assume.
I don't know. I thought I was just waiting for someone else to come in with theirs. I was just saying, Sliver reminded me.
I've been a little bit all over the place with my RPGs or my MMOs. I play Final Fantasy XIV, a little bit of RuneScape, a little bit of Guild Wars when I was pretty young, a tiny bit of WoW, Lord of the Rings Online. I even played a little bit of DC Universe Online.
I played a beta for that once. It was like before it came out. It was just the beta. I played it. It was not good.
Not really. I'm gonna be real with you. I played for a couple hours, and I remember playing it enough to have it on my list, but it was there was no reason to actually play. It felt like it just sort of existed, and the framework was there, and there was nothing beyond a framework. It felt like.
Yeah, I don't remember a single thing from that game. I don't even remember what power set I chose. Because I think I
went super speed. Because flying seemed pretty generic. Who am I kidding? They all seem fucking pretty generic.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was basically like you were Superman, Batman, Flash, or like Green or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, Superman or fucking Batman, my favorite power.
Being filthy, stinking rich.
you know
and
I meant
being
like
an
gadget,
orphan.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, no, I believe that what you would do is you'd choose your generic power, and then you choose which hero you trained under, or some shit like that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure most of the generic powers are based on the other hero.
Well, yeah, of course.
Is that game running? Is that dead? I'm assuming it's dead.
I think it's still running. I looked up.
I think it is too.
I forgot the name of it, and I had to look up DC MMO. because I forgot like it was called DC Universe Online. I'm like, what like I thought there might have been something a little bit more. No, it's just that's what it is. But yeah, it's still all the information was still in present tense, so I think it's still running. Don't quote me on it.
Okay, I will. Okay, Kaz, and you? I'm pretty
Me?
sure yours is pretty much everything already stated.
Yeah. Except I was born playing Fliff, okay? When they started the code on that shit, they consulted me as a fee.
They turned on the server, and you were already there.
Yeah.
You were already playing. They were like, "How is that
Yeah.
even possible?"
When they were like in the middle of composing the music, they actually put a fucking one of those shitty pairs of headphones up to my mom's baby belly and had me listen to it, and I said yes, from the stomach. This is getting really morbid and strange. Fliff is great.
How old is Fliff? Is it old enough for you to...
Fliff is at least 25 years old. Quote me on
Definitely
it.
not.
You can hold
No.
me to that promise.
Fliff
I
came out in
promise
like
you.
02 or some shit like that, bro. There's
Okay,
no way
alright.
it's like 25.
That definitely
No,
that
it's
definitely sounds like the
25.
mid.
Dude, it's 25. Trust me. Don't look it up.
I'm looking it up. It came online in 04.
That's close
I
enough.
hope you like being a
Close.
9-year-old fetus, bro.
Ballpark range. Anyway, like I was saying, World of Warcraft totally copied off of it.
Truly.
Fliff is... I mean,
I guess we're starting the discussion with Fliff, our favorite MMO.
yeah.
We're getting back in the Fliff.
We're getting
Okay.
back
So-
into Fliff. And I think
so-
it's important... I do think it's important to actually talk about Fliff due
Oh,
to
no,
its
yeah, for sure.
experience. I mean, both on us and our current experience in the current MMO we play.
Yeah.
But, I mean, would you like to start us off, Nameless Guest?
Well, I mean, I'll talk about Fliff. So Fliff is fly for fun, fly FF. We pronounce it Fliff. This confused Sliver for a while because he doesn't think it should be sounded out that
No,
way.
if it's spelled
Um,
FLYFF, it
I
should be
don't
like,
care.
fuck
doesn't
off,
matter.
It's,
Give it
it's
to
sound
Fliff.
like
It's Fliff, damn it.
Get Fliff.
Fliff is this shitty free-to-play MMO where basically all you do is grind mob for hours. It's like all
Actually,
you do.
though.
I don't actually like. I know it has like PvP, and I'm guessing it has some kind of equivalent to like dungeons. But I never got to them as a child. Like I didn't know how to access them. So
I mean, everything in the fucking world was just like, other than like the class quests being like clearly, hey, talk to this one dumbass, was just so fucking infuriating to find and like
do
dude, like, yeah, it's like, what do you even do in fucking Fliff? It's like, okay, I'm doing quests, but like, what am I actually achieving? And the
Yeah.
answer is nobody fucking knew, and everyone just kind of played it as a meme. I don't know. It was like, it was the free MMO. Like,
yeah, it
that's
was
basically
free.
it.
It had this kind of anime art style that
Yeah.
we liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Fliff is kind of basic. You start as like the starter class that doesn't do
Mhm.
anything, and then later you like choose a real class, and then those specialize later. But really, all you do in between is kill mobs forever. That's it. God, I don't really have much to say about Fliff outside of it's kind of boring.
Oh no, it's definitely boring.
At one point, you will get like a flying skateboard, and that's kind of cool. But like, that's nothing. That just gets you around the map faster. So you
The
can
battle
grind.
music is an absolute banger.
Oh, I love the battle music.
fuck the battle music. All the tracks in Fliff are actually great. Like, I've put several town themes, sprinkled them into several of the videos I've made for this channel, and I've loved re-listening to that fucking soundtrack. And personal experience with Fliff, a lot of it was like, oh hey, I log in, oh fucking Clockwork or whatever the fuck that giant world-killing raid boss was just appeared, and anyone could walk up to it and try and kill it. And then me as like a level 5 would do that and immediately die. It was
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But
so-
it made me feel like I was part of a community doing fuck all. Like,
Yeah. They're fucked.
I don't know. It's there's not. There really isn't that much to say about Fliff.
No.
Other than
I
me and our nameless guest have put in I don't know. We put in a couple hours in as kids.
we put in a number. I mean,
Yeah.
I never promoted the second time. I've only ever
Me neither.
promoted the first time.
Yeah.
But
We
like,
sort of got in. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but we sort of got into it through a mutual acquaintance.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I think so. Anyway, I don't think even he got that far either. None of
did.
us really.
He did.
Oh, he did? Okay, I don't.
He
I don't
did,
know.
and he promoted the cycle, and now we promote it once again.
Yeah, like, download Fliff, try it out. It's funny. I have.
It'll completely ruin your computer if you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
So I have two main like stories, I guess, when it comes to Flip that I remember vividly. So, in order to like promote your class, you needed a bunch of like random drop items from random mobs. And these were really annoying to get because it was random chance. And I think if you out-leveled the enemy, it would lower the chance of getting them. Which meant that like if you needed something from a level 5 enemy and you promote it like level 10, you were kind of fucked for a while. You just had to kill that thing a lot and it wouldn't drop the thing. But there was a thing you couldn't transfer items between characters, but you could drop items on the ground and other people could pick them up. So you could drop your shit on the ground, move over to another character and pick it up. So that's what I guess some people would do on like a high level character is they would, grind everything to get the items because they can one-shot them, get the items to transfer to a low level character. One time I just walked into a random area and there's a whole bunch of items on the ground. All these like promote items, and I just took them all. And then a guy spawned in and just said to me, "Where are my items?" And then proceeded to run the fuck away with all of his shit. I promoted very easily on that character. It was great. The other story I had is we were in elementary school at this time. At the specific time we were playing Fliff, my mother was using a particular scent of like air freshener. It was one of those automatic ones you plug into the wall. And like a year later, my mom bought the same one, plugged it in, and I smelt it. And I didn't, and my immediate thought was, I smell Fliff.
Fliff. Yep.
This is the Fliff scent. That scent became ingrained with that. Because scent is like such a huge memory trigger to my knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. My Fliff trigger isn't as pleasant, but my mom fucking smoked in her room. So I used her laptop, so I smelt fucking ashtrays every time I fucking played Fliff.
Oh, I didn't smell the smell when I played
Pleasant
Fliff.
scent, yeah.
But I thought of Fliff when I smelt it. I don't know what scent it was. I wish I could figure it out, but like my mom wouldn't know.
I'll now forever associate cancer at a young age with Fliff. But yeah, a couple. That was a little dark. A couple of years. What was it? Like 2 years ago now. We just made a joke within the group of lol. Let's get back into Fliff, even though like it was just me and you that fucking played it, and then me, you, and downloaded it for fuck knows why. I changed the resolution on my fucking screen once, and it fucked up every single text box in the game permanently. Like, I could not read anything, and rechanging it did not fix that. The game was permanently fucked, and I don't even know the state the game's in now. Like, the original people aren't running servers on it.
I don't know shit about that.
Some other fucking company bought. I don't know if they bought the rights to hold servers or what the fuck is going on, but the game is in a very strange state. I don't know. For all intents and purposes, it's technically dead in its original form, but there are.
Yeah.
When I look it up, there's still a weirdly dedicated group of people interested in this silly little, really shitty, grindy MMO for probably just sentimental reasons. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I don't.
Or
I don't
other
think
kids
anyone's gonna.
that are just like, this is the free game and I'm playing it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a new generation of cheapskate fucking elementary school kids.
I mean, I played it because I was a kid and I couldn't afford like the subscription fee to WoW.
test. Yeah.
I actually I think I owned WoW. It's just I couldn't really afford to pay the thing.
Monthly. Yeah.
At the time, and that sucked. Also, WoW barely ran on my computer. I remember I had like 15 frames per second because I had a really shitty computer. But yeah, that's Fliff. Download it.
Hold on, Ren. What was your favorite memory of Fliff?
Yeah, what was your favorite memory?
Oh man, I played Fliff once. It was amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That music stays with you to this day. I can
Oh,
hear
yeah.
it now.
Best
I can
hour
hear
of your
everyone
life,
listen.
right?
Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up and listen. Thank you.
Okay, I mean, we didn't actually have to shut up. You could have just edited.
No, yeah, I know. Ren's gonna edit the silence to be longer.
Truly.
No, it's
Whoever
actually
the
me
fuck's saying.
this
Sorry,
time.
Sliv is gonna edit the silence to be longer, or he's not, and he's completely fucking me over, and he's not even gonna delete this, and he's an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Fuck you, future Sliv.
not important. So
Let's get on to the next thing.
let's go. Okay, let's Sliv. You talk about it.
How about I just segue us into WoW? Because we were going that way anyway.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, why not?
How do you feel about WoW?
WoW's alright. The first time I played it was shortly after that South Park episode came out. I installed it onto my grandparents' computer. And during that process, I just found copious amounts of browsers links on their desktop.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of weird. But WoW's alright. It isn't bad. Never got really too far into it. But, like, each time I did get into WoW, got a little further than before. Start a new character because I'm a poor piece of shit. And it's like, hey, free trial. New email. Free trial. How would I make another email and get a free trial?
Well, I mean,
This might be dating me a bit. Do you guys remember when they had the free trial discs for World of Warcraft at like Future Shop?
No.
Well, Ren, I don't want to date you at all, but yeah, I actually do remember that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, my stepdad would used to pick up the trial discs and bring them home. So we had a bunch of them for a little while. Like we had like 4 or 5 of these trial discs.
Remember when WoW could fit onto a disc?
Oh, even back then, you had to do like a big update afterwards. It was basically just the installer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of MMOs that came on, that you can get on like a DVD, it would just be the installer, and then you'd basically just download everything. And it would take like a freaking week because our internet was slow as hell.
What's the point at that point? Just get the installer on disc. Just fucking get it online. Like if
Because online storefronts weren't really that. They were around, like eBay was a thing, but like Amazon wasn't like it is now.
Right.
So like it didn't make sense to do it. Like you could do it online, I'm sure, but like we were still in a world where everything was physical. You get a physical disc for World of Warcraft and you can install it. The same reason why stuff like the Battle Chest exists.
Yeah.
Fuck,
I remember seeing those at the dollar store.
You'd also get like goodies included with it. So you get like expanded manuals and some lore stuff and maybe like a poster or like a world map. Like generally you get a couple things with it in the box.
Yeah.
WoW is
WoW was a phenomenon, like really.
Oh no, for sure it was.
Well,
huge.
obviously. I think it's funny that WoW's problems seem weirdly paradoxical because you have sort of one side of the community saying like it needs to change and like it needs to like fucking add more quality of life improvements that other MMOs have vastly fucking outpaced it in. And you have another side of the community which is like never change WoW. We want the old WoW back. And I think it's
well, the second side is mostly, for the most part, I think that's like a nostalgia reaction because they remember playing during either Vanilla Burning Crusade or Wrath.
Yeah.
and like they really liked it then. But there is a lot of changes. Like I like looking for dungeon kind of thing. I like the dungeon finder because it allows me. Because when I was a kid and playing it, I didn't really understand how dungeons worked when I was a kid because I was dumb. I didn't know how to like get people together to do one. Now I can just hit dungeon finder and I'll do it. It is a little less personal, and it definitely discourages you from actually talking to people because they're just basically NPC minions at that point. But
yeah, I want to preface this by saying, like, if anyone here is a giant WoW head who's been fucking playing it since day one, like, I really got into WoW in a fucking Mists of Pandaria where everyone online says it shit the bed at fucking, like, what was it, Cataclysm?
Yeah.
And to me, like, I didn't even feel that. Like, I had a perfectly good time playing that game in the era where everyone was saying, like, all these changes made it shit. I think the dungeon queue is an amazing thing, personally. Fuck.
Well, it just made actually doing dungeons not a chore. You could just, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Was it Mists of Pandaria for you? I would have thought it would be Warlords, because I remember we as a group mostly got into it during...
We as a group got into it, but I personally got into it mid-high school at Mists.
Right, okay.
And I did not hit level cap, but I got to, like, Cataclysm shit.
Yeah.
When you really jumped back in around Legion, right?
Yeah. We jumped in around Legion for the most part as a group, and me and Kaz hit max, and we only did maybe like 1 or 2 looking for raids kind of thing. That's like the peak content we ever did.
Which isn't even like
looking for raid is a nerfed version of raids.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even do any like Mythic Plus stuff before we got bored and stopped playing. I don't know what any of that is, and I don't really care. I mean, I would maybe if I was playing WoW currently, because it's like the thing to do, but...
yeah, I know. I feel like the more we talk about our personal experience, like the more like a WoW head is likely to say like the way you play the game is wrong, or like cringe that we didn't like get into a guild and like interact with the community or whatever. And that's fair. Like I could have given the WoW community a bit more of a chance, but I don't know. At the same time, like I feel like most of my interactions with people in dungeons, other than them like saying "fuck you, you're doing this wrong," was like dipshits posting their DPS, like everyone's fucking DPS. It's wow, great. I'm so glad you fucking have this.
I'm level 30 and I'm not that skilled at the game.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't have the best DPS.
Yeah, I'm fucking brand new here, my fucking Fury Warrior, and you're shitting on me for like having less DPS. Like, just fucking give me a break here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know Sliver, you got to... So this is back... Okay, so in modern WoW, like the current WoW right now, you can do any expansion basically from level 1 to 50. The max level is now 60. They lowered the max.
Yeah.
So they've changed how it works entirely. We played during Legion when you actually had to play through each like slice of content in order to level up, which I actually kind of prefer. I kind of liked that, like, oh, I'm finally out of vanilla and I'm doing Burning Crusade.
Yeah, this set of content. Yep.
Yeah. So. I know, Sliver, you got to about Burning Crusade, right? I believe so. You were in that range.
I can't even remember at this point.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Just like WoW was such a nothing experience for me. Like, unpopular opinion on a podcast about MMOs tonight, but I don't really like MMOs.
Like, and before I do want you to expand that point, but I think... Like, your experience with WoW, was it just mainly kind of sitting in Orgrimmar waiting for the next queue to hit?
I was just sitting around just waiting for the next fucking mission.
Yeah.
Next quest.
And that's a lot of people's actual experience with WoW.
Yeah. You know, what was it? Before before BFA came out, Battle for Azeroth, because we were playing Legion and we all basically dropped off at Battle for Azeroth. I was like, I'm gonna level a new character from 1 to 80 or whatever it was at the time. I literally forget what the max level was. I think it was 90, whatever. And like I did a DPS, and before I was doing tank, so my Qs were pretty much. But this one, I said, I'm not just gonna stand in Orgrimmar. I'm actually gonna quest, while queuing for dungeon. And it was a lot more enjoyable. It was actually quite fun to do that. I very much enjoyed the leveling of my mage all the way from 1 to whatever. I think in Miss of Pandaria, again, people shit on that, but I actually quite enjoyed all of its zones. I sometimes just didn't dungeon queue and just did questing because it was fun.
Huge fan of its aesthetic and its enemies and just that whole fucking area.
Yeah, it's also just a fun area to play.
Yeah.
I admit I'm not the biggest fan of Pandarians. I do think they look kind of dumb. But whatever. So do some other races in WoW. That means nothing. But yeah, no. I mean, if you don't like MMOs, obviously. But I don't know. Going through dungeons is pretty fun. Doing dungeons with friends is really good. The questing is decent. I'm not sure about this new modern system they have where you can do any expansion. So, okay, I will preface this. This week, I downloaded WoW, and I created a new character on because you can play up to level 20 for free, as always. So I downloaded WoW and I created a new character, and I was playing this new stuff. One, they have a new starter area that's like a neutral starter area that anyone does, basically. You can still do the old one, but they have this new neutral one. But when you go to queue for dungeon, you can only queue for the what's it called? The expansion that you've set yourself to. So you talk to a person and you set yourself to, let's say, Wrath of the Lich King. Only allowed to do Wrath of the Lich King dungeons. For some reason, I don't really get the point of that. Why not just give me all the dungeons and let me queue for all of them at once?
The ones that I want.
Or all the ones that I've unlocked, because some of them are still level locked. This one's like, oh, you have to be above level 30, but whatever. Yeah, no, it's very odd. I didn't get why that was a thing. So, and also, I was like, but now I have to decide which set of dungeons I really want to do, right? Because later expansions have less and less dungeons. But some early dungeons suck, and I hate them. And then some early dungeons are great. So that was kind of annoying. I didn't really like that. But yeah, no. Well, that's pretty cool. It's got really simple rotations, actually, when I look at them now. My Fire Mage rotation was just spam Fire Blast, or Firebolt, or whatever, until I get a crit, use Fire Blast, and then Pyroclasm. And it was just repeat that forever. It's it was basically a 3-button rotation, and then there's a few utility buttons, too.
It was about the same for Fury Warrior.
All the rotations are actually, weirdly simple, and, now we're mostly playing Final Fantasy XIV, where the rotations are fairly complex, I guess. Well, in comparison, at least. I press a lot of fucking buttons on my summoner in Final Fantasy XIV. More than 3.
Before we get into that,
yeah.
Nameless guest, I'm interested to know, how much of the story did you pay attention to in WoW?
For all the expansions that were already done, none, basically. I didn't give a shit at all. I just wanted to level. I paid maybe a little bit of attention to, individual, the general story of a dungeon, just because they're very short and simple. Because it's oh, these bunch of snake worshippers are attacking, kill them. Okay, whatever, it's fine. But the actual plot I didn't really care for. I just looked it up online in an After Effects, just to learn the general thing. But when I was actually playing Legion and questing in Legion areas, I did pay attention to what was going on. I skipped a lot of text, but I got a general idea as to what was happening. Questline.
I think Yeah, Legion, I was interested up until the point when I realized that the whole fucking warrior quest line was literally just a fucking ripoff of Norse mythology.
I mean, that was obvious, but
it's shameless. It's fucking shameless. But Sliv, I'm very interested as to why MMOs aren't for you. Why do you think that is?
They just don't interest me. Most of the time I'm walking from point A to point B, and like I just don't care for the story. Like, the dungeoning in the rating is alright. Like, let's say FF14, for example, with like 4-player, 8-player, or even more player content. Like, that's alright, but just playing the story in, let's say, a Lotro, it was pretty much nothing. I don't remember any of the story from that. I don't remember there even being dungeons to where I played to, which was really weird. But with FF14, I played the vast majority of the main game of ARR, Realm Reborn, which is the story point 2.0, because hey, the game was bad, let's just redo the game and name it the same thing. Okay, it's a Realm Reborn, okay. And it was boring. It didn't interest me. It's like, oh, okay, Papa Nooch is doing this. Okay, like, fucking, what's going on? Okay, there's like titans and shit, I guess, and people are summoning them. Okay, gotta stop them. Nothing really interested me.
I mean,
and I know, like you guys say, it gets a lot more interesting after a Realm Reborn. But I feel as if I shouldn't have to play, essentially, a retail release priced game for however many hours. I think I put like 40, 50 hours into it at least. And I wasn't even interested. Your content shouldn't get interesting after the first expansion pack comes out. Like, that's just plain wrong.
I will agree that ARR is kind of annoying in its length, and I wish it was better, and they should do something to deal with that. I don't know what.
Well, they sort of did with the cutting down on the mission length. But
they removed like 20 missions. It was nothing.
Yeah.
But
they removed like 20 missions and made the Crystal Tower mandatory, which just completely negated that first part.
Anyway, I guess we're now talking about FF14.
Yeah, that's what to say about WoW, but it's fine.
Do you have any last thoughts on WoW, Kaz? Are we gonna get back into WoW?
We're not. I'm definitely not. And you know, I was gonna get into it when we talked about FF14 by the end of it, but everything that I've liked about WoW, I've gotten in spades more in FF14, and
I agree.
I'm just not. I don't know. When I compare the content, like graphics wise, and fucking, again, we'll talk about it later in FF14. But no, the answer is a huge no for me.
And how
Absolutely
about you, Ren?
Yeah, WoW's a really interesting thing to me. I'm not normally an MMO guy, and I'll get a little bit more into that in a little bit. But, like, I distinctly remember, like, out of all the ones I have played, and unpopular opinion, because, like, World of Warcraft was a phenomenon in the mid-2000s. Like,
Of course.
there were so many people playing, and I know people that, like, they spent, like, 8 hours a day sometimes playing this game. It was like a full-time job. I just could not get into it. I just, even with, like, my stepdad was trying it too, and at the time, and neither of us could get into it. And just by the end of the trial, it didn't make sense to pay for it. And for me, it just was not my cup of coffee, and I could not like the game. I don't know what it is. It's just, and even to this day, when I see World of Warcraft, I just cannot bring myself to care about it.
The one thing I
other
will
than
say,
understanding its cultural impact and everything.
Of course.
Like that.
Yeah.
Of course. The one thing I will say about WoW is that it's got fucking Final Fantasy 14 beat to a fucking T on races.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for them, somewhat, yeah. Obviously better than Final Fantasy 14 because Final Fantasy 14 is just different shades of human 90% of the time. There's one race that isn't. Whereas, I mean, WoW is still for the most part very human. They're just mostly like they have very different physical sizes and skin colors. And yeah, like a troll is still very much like very human-like, but it definitely has like huge differences. It is fucking like 9 feet tall, constantly crouched. It has 3 fingers. It's got the tusks and the big ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is the one.
And you never see an undead as playable in FF14 because it's not pretty enough.
Yeah, no.
Unless they made it sexy. I'm sure they'd find a way.
Oh, dude, I want sexy undead in Final Fantasy 14.
And they're just gonna have to put copious amounts of belts on them.
Instead of a bust size slider, they'd have a rib size slider.
I want exposed rib cages. But yeah, no, WoW definitely is better in that front. Although, if you look at like statistics in terms of like what players actually play, I think Final Fantasy 14 is making the right choice because I believe the majority of the player base in that game is like human and blood elf. Those are like the top 2.
Really?
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like humans and blood elves, and then maybe orcs.
Blood elves I get, but why the fuck would you want to be a human?
I don't know. Human. I think night elves are up there too. It's like human night. It's all the elves are pretty high, except for the ones that are allied races because it's just hard to get them. Or I guess not hard, but whatever. But I know because they're the 2 prettiest races. Human and blood elf are the 2 prettiest of the starter races. And I don't remember the rest. I think like Torin is like dead last or something. Because they're ugly cow people.
I love the Tauren.
I know.
Obviously, it's totally subjective, but
I think that like
I am okay with them being dead last. Have everyone pick the dumb fucking blood elves. I'll take my chill cow people any fucking day of the week.
Yeah, no, it's it's a problem, but that's why I think Final Fantasy 14 is technically doing it right because they're making the races that people want to play.
Yeah, because the player base wants to play as Lalafell.
The Japanese really like Lalafell. It's one of the most played races in the Japanese.
Oh shit!
To my knowledge. I think it's like second or something. I don't know. I forgot the statistic.
Second?
Something like that. I don't know.
That's disgusting.
I don't remember. Like I remember the North American statistics, which had Makote as the top.
Sounds about right.
Which is funny because they're like the least populous race canonically. But they do have the gender ratio right. Canonically there's way less male Makote than female.
Nice.
And female Makote vastly outnumber them in terms of player count. It's really funny. I say, playing a female Makote myself.
All right, before we get into FF14, which I think is the thing we'll have the most to say about.
Oh yeah, because
I'd like to get into I'd like to hear both Ren and Sliv's take on Lotro because I've heard you fuckers talk about this game for years.
And it's the one that me and Kaz really have not played. I think I played like 3 hours max.
I have played 0 and know jack shit about it, other than Tom Bombadil.
Tom Bombadil is the best character in the books.
I just really like that name.
In my experience, Lotro was a pretty bog standard MMO. And at the end of the day, with the Lord of the Rings skin on it, it definitely had some interesting stuff. I first played it when it was in beta, and it definitely was interesting seeing it grow and stuff. And it was interesting, like I was really into the movies growing up, and being able to like go to the location stuff, like you can go to Bree and see that city and stuff like that, and that was really interesting to me, and that kind of brought me in. But once I got down to the nitty-gritty of it, my family played it, I couldn't get into it as much myself, but my family all was playing it, and I still have like binders of my stepdad. He got really into doing dungeons and stuff and doing the big group content, and he would print out the maps and like put notes on all the maps and stuff.
That is
Like-
so fucking cool.
Yeah, and he'd have like information on like he would print out like the wiki guides and stuff and make his own notes on like how to better complete the dungeons and stuff. It is so cool like having those notes still. But yeah, he was super into that, but I could never personally get into it as much, and I just like I would play it sometimes with him, and like my family, but other than that, I wasn't really into it on my own. I never really like went out of my way to play it solo.
I think a lot of the problems that Lotro had was the scope of the game to begin with. Like with base Lotro, initially titled Lotro Shadows of Angmar, you basically had the Shire and you had the Dunlands, and that's it. You had just the Shire to start. Have fun. And then later on, it's like, okay, you get Lothlorien on the other side of not Lothlorien, whatever the fuck it is, on the other side of the Misty Mountains, on the way to the Lonely Mountain. And then it's like, okay, next we're gonna give you, 2 years down the road, we're gonna give you Mines of Moria. Okay, 2 years later, you're gonna get some of Rowan. 2 years later, you're now gonna get the Isengard region of Rowan. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's you want to play in the Lord of the Rings universe, and they're giving you bite-sized chunks every couple years. It's like, that's not really gonna suffice, that early on. You want to explore, the world of Lord of the Rings.
Now,
and
I will
it ended
say
up being, 12 years after launch, they finally got to fucking Mordor?
Yeah, I will say that there was a lot of stuff under the hood. I know that the game wasn't devoid of content or anything.
No, there were some
but they
quests
did. I will.
fucking everywhere.
Yeah, but I will admit that they did drag their feet a lot with getting the new expansions out and getting the people what they wanted, which was to go further and further out. And I remember Mines of Moria was such a huge deal when it came out because it's like, oh yeah, we get to go to this other place that it's super it's super big deal in Lord of the Rings. And I remember when are we actually going to get to Mordor? Because it took forever.
Yeah, it took way longer than it was necessary. I feel as if they had released expansion, the base game with expansions 1 and 2 all together, and that would have been a better starting point for an MMO. And that with all the expanded content in the Tolkienverse, they could have gotten past Mordor and into different parts of the continent of Middle Earth much quicker. I don't even know how further they've gone with that. If they stopped at Mordor or they gone more south. I think they went a little more south, but I can't be sure.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Do you think the game would have survived if it didn't have the Lord of the Rings mythology behind it?
No.
I have some doubts.
Very run-of-the-mill. It was slow too. Holy fuck.
Well, to be fair though, if you remove the Lord of the Rings thing from it, they would need to have their own setting essentially for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be interesting on its own and could prop the game up. I don't know because this is a theoretical thing, but I doubt it would be as popular as it with Lord of the Rings attached.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a picture of whether how much it relied on that. I get that it's a world created by it, but I'm just wondering whether or not that completely was the fucking this game would entirely flounder without it, or it was okay. Sorry, continue.
I think with Lotro, there's a couple of factors. It's very much a product of its time, and when it came out, it was starting to near the point that time was coming towards its end, because it has a lot of similarities to a lot of the MMOs that the World of Warcrafts and stuff it is very similar to a lot of those. And I think we were starting to already shift over towards the more modern style of MMO, where things were a lot faster and you had a lot more like ease of access and stuff. Lord of the Rings Online always felt like an older MMO did. It never really was up to stuff. Like it never really was like keeping on the edge or anything. It was just following the WoW train a little bit. And I think that's a big factor.
Like I can say for sure I only played the game because of the branding. And I think it is really what turned me off MMOs for the most part.
I will also say, before I stopped, like, Lord of the Rings Online was the last MMO I played. And when I finished playing, I'm like, I'm not playing an MMO ever again. I'm done. These aren't for me. I don't like them. Like, I can't get into them.
I was never able to find a story that I enjoyed, like, a lot in the game. Everything was too spread apart as well. Landmarks were few and far between. Like, you'd be walking for a good, like, 45 minutes to get from, like, a town to another town.
Yeah, you had to do a lot of traveling. And like a lot of long-distance traveling.
And if you didn't have, like, a fast mount, you were fucked. Like, I never had a mount in that game, so I walked. It's like, okay, I'm in Bree. My hometown is Bree. I need to go to the Shire, like fucking Hobbiton, for a quest. Time to press W and then hit Control and then steer for like 40 minutes to walk to the fucking Hobbiton.
I can't remember if it even had it. I honestly don't remember if there was fast travel.
There was not fast
just
travel
because it's been
we were
so
playing.
long.
I think there is now, just due to the sheer size of the map. But, like, your game is too large, like, in terms of map size and to quest ratio, when you have to have a button where you don't have to, like, push forward. Because, like, you're just gonna kill your WP at that point.
All fucking MMOs have an auto-run button. That is not a thing. Like, all of them do.
Yeah.
I haven't found them in other MMOs. I found it in this one. And
it's R for the most part.
It was
most of the ones I've played, it's R.
It's like, okay, let's do a quest here. Okay, walk to the other end of this area. Do a quest there. Kill 10 bugs. It's like, I never got to a point after playing like 30, 35 hours where quests weren't like kill a couple mobs and then walk here. Like, I never found anything else. And maybe that's just the completionist in me that wanted to complete every side quest in every area, because I'm dumb and thought that's how games worked back then.
Yeah, that would also be brutal. I mean...
Yeah, no, typically in MMOs, once you've hit the level, like, not cap, but, like, once you've surpassed the level of an area, it's time to move on, ignore the rest.
They're telling me if I'm level 15, I shouldn't be doing level 4 quests just because the game is offering it?
you should get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I wasn't
that's
able
a
to find
new
dungeons
MMO player trap.
You know,
in that game either. Like, I was looking for more stuff, but I never ended up finding dungeon content.
I honestly wonder if you would have done well if you had gotten into the original Guild Wars in its prime. Because it did things a little bit differently, where, like, you'd pick up your quests in towns, and then you'd go out with either your party, or you could make a party of rented party members that were just, like, you know, basic loadouts of the different classes.
Yeah.
And then you could go out, and it was just an instance area where you do your quests and stuff, and then you go back to town afterwards and you turn in all your quests, or you could head to the next town.
That's exactly what I did with Lord of the Rings. Like, I'd go, what was it, that dwarf area, the one with, like, the 4 pillars in the town, whatever the fuck it was. I'd go there, I'd pick up, like, 6, 7 quests, I'd leave the area, start filing off all the quests, and then when I got back, I'd hand them all in, and then I'd pick up, like, 6, 7 more.
Yeah. and I know we're kind of veering a little bit off topic, but I played the original Guild Wars, and it kind of sounds more like what you were looking for, where it was like, while there were quests, there was always like a main thing to kind of push you along and keep you moving.
Like, I never found the story quests in Lotro. I thought the side quests would eventually, like, just push the story forward.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So I don't think I found a single story quest. Apart from, like, the first one, which was, like, the one I remember is, like, you're in, like, a prison camp, and, like, the Nazgul are there or something, and, like, you have to escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's the only story content I remember. Like, because I played a couple times, right? Each time I played as a different race, apart from human, because fuck humans, right? The Hobbit stuff was alright, the Elf stuff was alright. I played Dwarf the most. I think I liked Dwarf the most in Lotro. Like, in terms of race. I don't remember what kind of classes I played, if there were classes. There's probably classes.
Yeah, there were classes. I
definitely played an Elf Ranger. Because I'm like, I want to be Legolas. I want to be fucking cool. Yeah.
Everyone wanted to be Legolas.
I can't remember what class it was. I would play the one that let you have the bear companion to fight with you.
Of course you did.
Oh fuck!
It was like incredibly on brand.
I remember the fucking companions. We had a buddy who had a pet rock. That was fuck. Why was there a rock companion?
Yeah, I remember that. I think that was the class I just played. I can't remember if I played many others. I might have played like the basic mage class, if there even was one. I can't remember now. It's been like years. It's like probably over a decade since I last played that game.
It's probably been a decade since I last played it too. It was definitely 2011 when I stopped. Holy shit, it's been 10 years.
You played it on Steam for sure.
I played it on Steam for sure, and I played it through launch at a friend's house before.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's an MMO that did it right, kids. Don't forget, the quality of your MMO is, like, dependent on if your launcher version and if your Steam version are actually the same game that use the same servers, because fuck you if you decide that your PC version on, like, fucking Epic Store and your PC version on fucking Steam is fucking different. Fuck you. It's online, it's on PC, it's on the same fucking platform, it should have the same fucking servers. Eat shit, good night.
What the hell game are you complaining about?
Did you have a
right
bad
now?
experience?
I can't think of an MMO that does that.
Fuck.
Unless you're just talking about games in general, in which case, yeah, that is kind of dumb.
Yeah,
that
just
is
games in
Well-
general that do that. It's fucking stupid.
Oh, okay.
It's an online
I thought you had a
game.
particular MMO in mind.
No, but if
Sliv
it's an
complaining about
online
the
game-
future of MMOs aside, I'd like to stray away just a little bit from the Thunder Club Lotro experience, and I want to talk about a personal little game I used to play. I had to look it up on my fucking phone to actually find the name of it. It was called 3D MMO Celtic Legends for the iPhone.
Oh, you played a bunch of stupid like phone MMOs in like high school.
I did.
I thought you were stupid every time you came up with like a new one.
I was. I can't even fucking deny that. This one is entirely unremarkable. Like, I can't even... I was just a guy beating up shit with a hammer. But what I do remember from it was that all of the fucking mobs dropped like 2 gold, and like the fucking next weapon I needed was like 200 gold. So, you know. And then it got to like 400 gold, and like the more I leveled up, and like by this point I had like played WoW, and like I wasn't like doing stupid shit like doing every single side quest. But I met somebody, and this is a very important lesson I met somebody, and he was just like, "Oh man, let's go questing together." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man." And I made a little friend, and then my little friend asked me for fucking, dude, can I have like 20 gold? Can I have like 20 gold to afford my new weapon? I just do this for me, bro. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? 20, why not? Sure, you go have that. And then he buys his weapon, and then he comes back, and we quest together for another hour. And it's like, bro, can I have like 60 gold? I need it for like a new weapon. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, here you go, man. I guess. He gets a new hammer. And then we quest together for a bit, and he's like, "All right, bro, I need 200 gold for my next weapon." I'm like, "Come on, man, what's going on here?" But I give him money anyway. And then he fucks off. He just fucks off.
You gullible little bit.
And so dumb. I think I learned a valuable lesson in a shitty free phone MMO. So, 10 out of 10 for 3D MMO Celtic Legends. I learned a very valuable lesson about stupidly placed generosity and how everyone online is actually a piece of shit.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I actually have a somewhat similar story. My first time playing RuneScape, I made a character and I was no one would sell GF.
That'd be one.
I was still pretty young and dumb, and I was playing, and this guy said, "Hey man, I want to show you something really cool." And he led me out to the wilderness and just killed me.
I contemplated doing that to a guy once in RuneScape, but mostly because he was annoying. Not because like I had any like plan to do that. He just would not stop asking me how I got like a certain hat, and like I told him like Christmas event or something, and he just still pestered me. I was just like, I'm gonna lead him to the wilderness and kill this fucker.
Insert the RuneScape elf image here.
You guys are out there getting fucking unleashed by fucking people up into the wildy. Meanwhile, I'm making a living as a fucking wood dealer at the Great Exchange. I spend fucking hours of my life just chopping trees and throwing them into the bank so I could sell them at the Great Exchange.
Oh, well, in RuneScape, I had like a rotation where like I would mine shit, smelt shit, and sell it. And like it was like a circle that I would walk to do this because there wasn't a blacksmithing place near the place I was getting like coal and iron.
All right, kind of jumping around a little bit. One thing I will say about Latro is that it had a very good crafting system, if I remember correctly. I remember a lot of people that I know that played the game got really into it, like selling on the market board and stuff, and like crafting more to sell more and just kind of building a cycle with that. It was really interesting. It had a very good market board system.
Oh, definitely.
That is like the one thing I remember about that game very vividly was the market board.
You could specialize in making any type of equipment, and you could make deep bank in that game.
And I think like the crafted armor and stuff was infinitely better than anything you could otherwise get.
It is, from what I remember. You would find someone who was selling, or just making all this shit, and be like, well, okay, what can I offer for you? These are my skills that I know. Can I make you something?
Or you just go to the market board and pay money.
Or you go to the market board and pay money, but that's not fun. It's like Lotro was a community inside a community, right? So like you had your MMO, but it's just like every player who specialized into something was an actual character in that world, just because of how deep the crafting and specialization system was in the game. It's like you had your
people just became like just traders.
Guys. Yeah. And like those were the real bros. Like, let's be real here.
I made a killing, like in-game killing, but they made a lot of in-game money off that.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really got into any kind of crafting system in an MMO personally. I always find it kind of boring.
Time to sell the account for several $1,000s because of the specialization.
Just buying accounts is it's so odd. I can maybe understand in WoW getting like a character boost or something just because you want to play like the newest stuff and it's been a while since you played or whatever. But like, I don't get just buying someone else's account. Feels weird.
Paying money to be at the end of the game with nothing else to do.
Yeah, no,
Doesn't really sound like fun. But people will spend hundreds of dollars on these accounts. It is completely insane to me.
Yeah, no. I mean, I never understood account buying any game. I know what happens in other things, but whatever.
If I remember correctly, there was a guy we went to school with, and he would like level up. I can't remember what MMO is. It's probably WoW, but he'd level them up to max, and then do a couple other things, and then you just sell it, and he made like a bunch of cash during high school just by leveling up characters in WoW and selling it off.
How odd. I mean, cool. Good for him. I guess that was before they introduced character boosts.
Yeah.
I guess Blizzard saw that people were doing this, and they're like, you know what? We can just sell that. We don't need to outsource this. We can make our own money on it. God. Okay, so I guess now we talk about Final Fantasy 14.
It's time.
The only one that Rin actually likes.
I'll take one more detour, just to get into Guild Wars 2.
Oh, Guild Wars
2.
Okay, so Guild Wars 2 is, I did like it. It has issues. I had issues with it. Yesterday I re-downloaded it and I made a new character for fun out of curiosity.
Wow, look at you getting all nostalgic and re-downloading all these weird MMOs.
I'm just curious because I was like, I literally forgot Guild Wars 2 existed. The last we played it was like 2013 or something.
You know what?
It's been like
college dorm.
This might have been a good idea for research purposes, just to like re-download and play like half an hour. But you know,
fuck that.
Well, yeah.
I don't.
But like I re-downloaded, I played one. Guild Wars 2 is free now. So
wow.
I actually had to make a new account because I just could not remember my old account shit. But I was making a new character anyway, so I didn't really give a shit. But yeah, no, the base game is free. The expansions, you gotta buy them. But you only have to buy the newest expansion because it gives you the other. There's only 2. Doesn't matter. That was my mild research in it. So if we ever want to try that, we can. Most of my issues with it still seem to exist in that most group content is just like a weird mosh pit of like beating on the boss forever.
Yep. It's weird world quests.
Yeah.
Or basically fates in Final Fantasy 14 terms.
Yeah. It's still kind of fun. Like there's like a weird like completionist joy in it because like you go into like the zone because each like area is instanced off a little bit. Like it's not like fully you can just walk from one place to another. There's load screens. But like in the area, it'll tell you a list of here's all the points of interest. When you go to those points of interest, you get a bit of XP. Here's all the like vistas, which are like just like nice views. And when you go there, you get XP. And here's all the like hearts. There's like these hearts on the map, and you go to them. And these are like your quests. There's no quests in the game. There's just these hearts, and it's like you go in the area, and it says, okay, you can kill this enemy type, you can do this minor task, and there's just like a bunch of things you can do to fill up the heart, and you fill it up, you get a bunch of XP, and that's like the quest. So there's like this kind of enjoyable completionist thing.
It's pretty cash, I'd say.
Because again, I'm playing it. I literally was playing it an hour before this podcast, and I didn't mention it because I wanted to bring it up on the podcast. And like I just cleared out like the starting area for the plant people, and like it felt good to just have that all filled out. It was kind of fun. I remember back then a big issue I had was there was no like organized group content or that it was like meaningful and easy to do, like a WoW dungeon or whatnot. They have since added those. Those are in the game. You have to be level 30 to do them. Like, it takes a while to reach that point. I'm only level 16. But like, I actually might continue playing it to get to that, just to see what they're like, because I am curious. But yeah, no, it's cool. I am kind of liking it. Although I'm playing Thief, and Thief has like a unique mechanic in the way its spells work, which essentially just means I spam one spell repeatedly forever. But you know, whatever. The spell's cool, so I kind of enjoy it. Yeah, no, I never really got fully into the like personal story. Like, I guess it was okay, but I don't remember much of them. I think you got farther than me, Kaz, in our first playthrough.
I got max level. I had.
Okay. I never hit max.
That's the thing. I remember really liking the story, but I also don't fucking remember what happened. But I did like that it was pretty personalized for the most part. Like, I remember my character is like it asks you a bunch of questions at the beginning, like, okay,
Yeah.
like what's your character's MO, and like, okay, well, and then you say, I like said like there's a rival I want to beat, and it's like, how did you, like, why is this person your rival? And like one of the options is like, you know, you got in a bar fight and they cheated, or like you've just been rivals since day one. And like, from what I saw, and I did varying routes, the dialogue does change up a bit between like those small differences, and I actually really like that.
Yeah. I will say I remember that most of those choices at the beginning are only for like your intro quests. At a certain point, all the quests like converge
Okay.
and homogenize. If I remember correct, I'm not at that point in my current playing of it. I'm still on my like personal like starter quest story, which is based on those starter choices. But we'll see. I'm curious.
I mean, one of the weird things, and I don't know if they still have this, but any quest can equip any weapon or some shit like that. Is that still a thing? Okay.
No, that was never a thing.
Okay. Well, okay.
So every class had like a different had like 4 or 5 weapons they could use.
Okay.
And that determined your main core 5 attack skills.
Yeah. But I remember there was some fucking weird shit. Like, my girlfriend at the time picked a mage, and she was using a fucking greatsword as a weapon.
Yeah, probably Mesmer, which is the like psychic class.
And she fucking used it as like a laser beam. Like a fucking beam came out of that, and it was fucking sick. Like, it was cool.
I've walked around and like I've seen some Mesmers and playing right now, and they just shoot like a big laser beam out of their sword. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think they can't use every weapon. But a lot of classes have like a lot of weapon choices, and they all do like various things. And it's like your main hand, like if you're dual wielding, your right hand weapon is like your first 3 weapon skills, and your left hand weapon is your like last 2 weapon skills. And then everyone has a healing skill, which is your own personal healing. You can like spec into being like a dedicated healer. There are ways to do that. I'm just not sure how like important that is in this game. And then you have 3 utility skills, and these don't depend on your weapons. They're just class based. And then there's your elite skill, which is like your super big move. There's also like specializations, which are all passives and stuff. I don't know. This is my mild research on the game, going back into it right now. And I think I will actually continue playing it for a little bit. I at least want to hit dungeons and see what they're like. If dungeons are fun and I want to keep doing them, then I'll probably continue playing the game for a while.
I just really liked that I could like take my fully leveled character and go to an area with a level 1 and get pretty reliable EXP doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah, assuming it was an area that you haven't already done. Because if you've already cleared the hearts, you're not going to get much, because you're just waiting on the random events to show up. and they're not that great compared to the hearts. But if you leveled a human and then you go to the plant people area with your new friend who's just playing a plant. I'm playing a plant right now. I should know the name of them. Sylvari, I believe. You could level up with them even though you're like level 30. It's neat. I like that. I also like that it's not like Final Fantasy XIV where it removes your skills when it levels you down. You still have everything. You're just doing less damage.
I am actually legitimately shocked that it's still going.
Yeah, no, in my like looking up at stuff, they're coming out with a new expansion this year.
Wow, that's pretty impressive because, fuck, back in the day, and I say back in the day, this was like what, fucking 6 years ago when I was into this.
I think it's 7.
Oh God, like everyone was saying, like fuck, the player base for this fell the fuck off. Like nobody like it had a giant fucking player base at the beginning, and then it immediately dropped to like almost empty towns or some shit like that. And I am kind of shocked. I always assumed that was just because it didn't have some kind of subscription. And obviously when your game doesn't have a subscription, it's like people feel less obligated to play.
Yeah, you lose some of the sunk costs, but I think the main thing is it lacked like a true end game.
Yeah.
Early on, and it lacked that dungeon-like thing. To my knowledge, they have generally fixed that, and there is now like decent instance content in the game.
Neat.
And I am curious to see how it is and if it's good. I want to hit that point before I make any judgments about it.
All right.
You want to know something that's wild?
What?
The original Guild Wars is still up and running.
Oh yeah. In my research for this game, I learned research. It was like I watched a YouTube video labeled "Beginner's Guide," and like the comments were saying Guild Wars 1 is still up.
Yeah, it is still up, and that was one of the first MMOs I ever played. And I have relatively I'm generally as I've already said, I'm not really an MMO guy. I have some pretty decent memories about that one. It was definitely dated even at the time compared to WoW and stuff. You couldn't jump, and it was weird where you're this really powerful character, but you couldn't jump over ledges like you could in any other game.
That's really funny considering there's a giant fucking emphasis on jumping in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, it's probably because in Guild Wars 1 you couldn't jump. You could not jump at all.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 has specific areas that they call jumping puzzles, which are just platforming sections, and they suck total dick. I hate
they suck ass.
It's probably entirely there because in the original you could not jump.
Is it possible that in the original you couldn't jump because the knees didn't exist?
No, it's probably just because they didn't really program in a fucking Z-axis.
No, it's because our eyes don't exist.
But yeah, I remember the one campaign I remember the most is Factions. I played through Prophecies, Factions, Nightfall, and a bit of Eye of the North, but not much. Just because I started to fall off at that point. But yeah, Factions is the one that stands out to me because there's this whole thing with your guild where you could pick a side, and this really easy to get into PvP content where you'd fight with a whole bunch of other people representing your side in the war against the other side in this big battle.
Cool.
And it would you'll build points for your side, and you get rewards and stuff based off of how many points you built up for your side. And I remember the main enemies of the campaign were really they're kind of to young me. They were really spooky. They were weird fleshy abominations. I think they were called the Afflicted or something.
I don't know. I know there's some undead enemies in Guild Wars 2 called the Risen, or the Arisen or whatever, but...
Yeah, but I remember really liking... I especially like some of the classes that you don't see a lot. There was a Necromancer class that actually raised the dead, and you had a little group of zombies you controlled.
Yeah,
and you get access to different ones as you leveled up.
I think all the jobs from the first are in Guild Wars 2. I don't think they removed any. I believe
They might have changed. They might have changed a bit.
Well, obviously,
I don't know
yeah.
for sure. But...
It plays completely different, most likely.
Yeah. I would play an elementalist with monk, so I had access to some of the healing skills.
Okay, monk is not a thing, so I don't have all of them. But they have elementalist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alright.
Okay. So Rin, you gonna Guild Wars 2 with me? Are you gonna join me in this journey?
Nah,
rediscovering this game?
I tried Guild Wars 2 and I couldn't get into it. And it's a real shame. Like, I know, if I might get real for a moment, like, my stepdad, he was waiting to play Guild Wars 2 and he never got a chance to. And I tried to play it and I just couldn't get into it. I just, for whatever reason, it just didn't click for me. But yeah, I like the first one. I just don't like the second one. I don't know what it is.
I'd imagine if the first one is still running to this point, then there's enough of a difference that it's not assured that you'd like Guild Wars 2. So.
Oh yeah, no, I would.
That makes
I would
sense.
assume that.
Yeah,
Apparently, they still update it with like hotfixes and stuff too. It's
crazy.
crazy, especially considering NCSoft loves shutting down games.
Fuck, I just looked a little more into Lotro, and there's definitely not a drought in content there, with 130 being the max level right now. Hey, maybe
That was the
maybe
that
I should
was
do
the-
that again.
that was the other weird thing about Guild Wars. I think you maxed out at level 20, and that was it.
What?
Well,
Huh.
Like,
Oh,
I think you
was
got
it?
stuff like afterwards, but like you maxed out your level at 20.
well, in Guild Wars 2, it's the same, except you max out at 80. But like you max out at 80, and that's the end of the base campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And then the expansions, you are level 80 throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's something called like mastery, which I believe it's like points that you get that you can put into different things. I don't know because I haven't unlocked it yet because I'm level fucking 16. But I know there are like things that you can get after you hit 80 that like you can
Yeah.
still power up,
Yeah, you do get more powerful, but
which is I don't mind that as an idea. It prevents the like level bloat that happens in like WoW, because like WoW was like over level 100 or something. So they had to dial it back and make the max level 60 again, and just lowered everyone else's level.
So
like-
fucking weird.
What was my max level character? Because I maxed out a character in Battle for Azeroth. Is now level 50, which is 10 below the max, which would have been the same if they just increased the level cap by 10 like normal. So it doesn't really change anything. It just changes the leveling process to, I guess, make it faster. I'm not sure. And then with all the other changes, But no, I don't actually mind the idea of having this is the level cap, and like the level cap is basically the tutorial, and the real game starts at 80 or whatever the
Mhm.
level cap is. It's not like bad, assuming there's still like a meaningful like progression system beyond that. Beyond just okay, gear is cool, I guess, but yeah, no, not bad. I'm gonna continue Guild Wars 2 for a bit, unless I get really bored or I just really hate the instance content. We'll have to see.
All right, gents, it's time.
Okay, yeah, now we can talk about the game that we
to
all
segue
that we
off
actually
to
like.
to segue off to, did any of you guys? I have it in my notes. Did any of you guys, or do you know anyone that actually played those MMOs that we always like? If you ever go on like an anime website, there's always these MMOs that are like that like just have a different name, but it's like blatantly Naruto or One Piece. Has anyone actually ever played those?
I take it back.
No.
It's not time. And no.
No, I should have gone into some of them. I should have played one before this podcast out of curiosity. But
I am
no.
legitimately curious if anyone's ever like if anyone actually plays those things, because there are ads everywhere for them.
Yeah, I've always seen them. Well, I don't see them anymore because I have ad block. But
Yeah.
I think I'm good. I don't think my computer needs any Chinese ransomware on it right now. so
fair enough. You already
I'm
have
good
Epic.
there. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
But
Can't
yeah,
win them all.
win 'em
Sometimes you
all.
just want Borderlands 3 earlier.
yeah. God damn it!
Fuck!
Another podcast.
We're all
where
a
we mention
bunch
it.
of fucking shills.
Except Rin.
but yeah.
Rin never bit that bill.
Good for you. Good for you, man.
But yeah, no, I've never played any of those. I've never clicked on that. I don't know what Wizardry 101 is either. I've always saw that ad. Never played it.
If you play this game, you won't last 30 seconds.
Oh, that I've downloaded.
Oh,
Hold on. You're telling me you guys haven't played League of Angels?
No.
no.
Well, the hidden sequel to League of Legends. League of Angels is actually an MMO, which is all about beating the enemy's towers and actually beating off the enemy's towers and actually beating off while you beat off the enemy's towers. You actually do not last 30 seconds. The ad was true. The ad was right.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, can't blame
Gentlemen.
No false advertisement there.
Gentlemen.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about fucking Final Fantasy 14.
Right.
I like Final Fantasy 14. It's currently my favorite MMO on the market. I think it's probably one of the best on the market. I can't think of one that's really better than it. I do quite like it. How do we all feel about it? I'm sure we're all pretty much in agreement there.
All right. We're all gonna talk about mechanics one way or another. Okay. So I want to talk about a personal story. FF14 saved my life. No. Last year in August, me and my girlfriend decided. Was it August? Fuck it. To get married in FF14. It was very cringe, okay? Flame Chaser would call me gay and set me on fire, but we did it, okay? Like, well, we're getting married, so we have to get random people around this town to come to our wedding. We actually got a solid turnout. It was like 15 people, giving them like 30 minutes fucking notice. But more importantly, a man, the legend, Duke Thunderclap, who was this man that actually weirdly looks like a twin of Rin's character. It's but with an eye patch and he's shirtless. Was just standing there in Limsa Limenza, and he takes my invite. He's like, "I'll be there. Don't worry."
Don't worry.
30 minutes later, wedding's about to start. Oh man, everyone's here, but where? And then he shows up. He doesn't even show up flying majestically. He just appears. And there's Duke Thunderclap. And I'm like, Duke, I'm so glad you came. And Duke Thunderclap said to me, "A man always keeps his promises."
Based.
So,
what a legend.
Duke Thunderclap, this motherfucker who's with an eye patch in a fucking, and again, is shirtless with I think gloves on or some shit. In the fucking marriage cutscene, this dude is in, I bullshit you not, every single frame he could possibly be in. I don't know how it worked out like that, but I swear to God, he is the first and last, you pop over a character's shoulder, it's fucking Duke's face, clapping, it's great. And then by the end of it, and it was, everyone was so fucking, well-spirited about it. Everyone was, really into it, and I felt like half of them were taking it seriously, and half of them were just it's a fucking dumbass, online, who gives a fuck? And, it got to the point where, and this is such a weird thing. It got to the point where we were standing outside and, all, I don't know, striking poses or whatever. And Duke just, trades me and my girlfriend, 99 champagne bottles so we can do the champagne fucking spray animation. And Duke just says, "Weddings are something that are meant to be celebrated." And we just fucking do that. And then just everyone left. And somebody hit me up later and was like, "Hey, I was taking pictures of the whole event." And they just send me 70 fucking pictures of this thing, and I'm like, wow, this person just randomly decided to like actually give a shit about this meme event that I put on. It was so fucking weird, and I've never had a fucking experience like that in an online game. And the weird thing is, like, all these people, like, I still have them on my friends list. Like, I still see them on my fucking, like, in town. Every single month I fucking log into this game, I will see the Lalafell credit card running around fucking Gridania. And it's like, sure enough, it's got his fucking orange name on it. You know, I see, fuck, I went to this other guy's wedding, fucking Lionel Falk, just some fucking weird ass furry guy. Yeah, that was fun too. It was just a strange fucking online event, and it's way more positive than anything I've ever encountered in WoW, and probably anything I've ever encountered in an online community ever. It turned what was a meme into like something that weirdly meant something to me, and the only person I haven't seen is Duke fucking Thunderclap. This like, he just disappeared. I don't know where this dude went. So, in July or August, or I'll give everyone the day. If you want to come to the anniversary ceremony, everyone who's watching this, hit me up. You will get my personal invite, and there will be pictures on screen of Duke Thunderclap, the man, the myth, the legend who appeared and disappeared into the night, probably to just strike manly poses shirtlessly and with an eye patch. Man, fuck the wedding. Everyone just think about Duke Thunderclap.
Truly.
That's why Final Fantasy 14 is fucking awesome.
Anyway, to talk about the actual game.
This is the actual game, you fuck.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, no. So I like it. I will say, so one of Final Fantasy XIV's biggest strengths, and I would also say is one of its biggest weaknesses, is its main scenario quest, the MSQ, the main story.
Yeah.
So the main story is good. It is the best story I have seen in an MMO after ARR. ARR, for the most part, is pretty bland, pretty garbage, not really worth reading the majority of it. I skipped most of it. I just kind of skipped past most things and just kind of like understood through context what was going on. Until like right near the end when I started paying attention again, because I was like, I've heard Heaven's Word is actually good, and I want to know what the hell's going on in this last little bit. So I started paying attention near the end, but for the most part I did not really pay attention to ARR. It's not that worth it.
Yeah, Sliver's point about the story being boring as fuck is pretty goddamn valid.
It's totally valid for the beginning of. Also, ARR does a really bad job of like having engaging quests. Most of them are just walk here and talk to someone. I feel they get better at that as they go. Like, particularly like I would say even after Heaven's Word. Heaven's Word's still not that great at having engaging quests. It's mostly just talk to people. But Stormblood and Shadowbringers has like a decent variety. Like, you actually will fight things and do stuff in the quests. Right, Rin? Like, you notice that like the actual quests you did got better as they went. You
also get a lot more dialogue choices, I think.
Yeah, you do.
It adds a really small thing to it, but like it does add something to it, you know?
Yeah, I choose the mean choice every time. If there's a mean choice, I take it immediately.
There have been times where I think I'm picking the nice choice and it turns out to be the mean choice, and I just feel bad.
Oh, I don't. It's but yeah, no. So sorry, as I was saying, that's what its biggest strength is, because the story is good. I do like the story post ARR. but it is what filtered me in my first try. Like, I played the game before Kaz did. I got back into it when Kaz started, basically, because I was like, well, someone else is playing it. I kind of liked the gameplay of it, so I'll try it again. But the main story filtered me originally just because it was really long, really boring, and they locked like meaningful content, like dungeons and trials, behind it. So I couldn't do the things I kind of wanted to do until I just skipped enough dialogue, and it was kind of annoying, so I stopped.
It's kind of funny. I'm a little bit of a, with hindsight, I'm a little bit of an ARR apologist because I think that like the
With
story
hindsight,
does have.
you were fucking apologizing from the beginning.
What can
you
I say? I'm
constantly-
Canadian.
You constantly said that ARR's not that bad, guys. As we were like in the middle of ARR.
Because it does have some good moments in it.
Oh no, I'm sure.
I gotta say, like, so the game plan, and it's I admit that this is the wrong way to play this game, but my fucking experience is to play it with my girlfriend, which means I cannot progress the story without her. And holy fuck, some of those quests after the main story are pretty fucking bad.
Oh, for sure.
Like, she could not, like, to this day, she has not gotten to Heaven's Ward, which
Well,
I
yeah.
really hope I can fucking get her to do the rest of. But
That's where Sliver got filtered too. That's where I got
Yeah.
filtered my first time. Yeah,
Yep.
I bursted through it this time, but it got filtered there too because it's just they're very long and most of them are very pointless. I think there's one that's literally pointless. I forget exactly, but like one update. No, yeah, that is truly one of the biggest weaknesses of the game is that it requires you to play a lot before you really get to like the good parts of the story. There are like the combat's still pretty fun. I will say it continues to get better as it goes. Early on, even at level 50, your rotation isn't like that complex or interesting. Depends on it depends on the job you're playing, but that said, they're still more complex and interesting than WoW fucking rotations, which are really simple.
I think in general the combat feels more. I mean, I can't count for raid bosses, but I always find myself having to do more on-the-fly footwork for general mobs in the world compared to WoW. Like, everything's got the cone, everything's got some kind of AoE to move around.
Everything has AoEs. In WoW, for the most bosses are just tank and spank. Where you just sit there and hit the boss while the tank just takes it, and you don't even think about it. I admit that's like mostly dungeon bosses, and I'm sure there are some raid bosses, especially like higher level raid bosses, that like break that trend. But in Final Fantasy XIV, you will deal with that in like not the first dungeon, but definitely the second dungeon. The boss will actually do things and has a mechanic that you kind of need to know what you're doing. Not really. It's for the most part to avoid AoEs and kill the ads, but you know, it's there. It's more than WoW does in its early dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
It's kind of funny. Very early on, I almost got filtered out because, like, getting into, like, for you guys, getting me to try FF14 must have been like pulling teeth. Like, I was having, because I was having none of it. I'm like, you know what? I have had bad experiences with the last, like, mountain of MMOs I've tried to play. I just can't get into any of them. They're just not for me. Not for me. Not for me. I'm never gonna play another MMO, and that's that. And then I finally tried FF14, and I hated it at first. Like, I was saying to like online friends and stuff, like, oh man, like, how, like, I don't get it. It's just like every other MMO. It's, you know, it's the same kind of fare. And I realized my mistake was my starting class, which was Black Mage. Because early on with Black Mage, you don't do a whole lot. It's very much like every other MMO. You just kind of press the same spell and then switch to the other spell, and then you switch back. There wasn't a lot of engagement in that. And then as I got higher and higher level, it got a little bit better. And then once I got to level 50, or even before that, I was like, oh man, I want to try Red Mage because it looks kind of cool. and then Kaz, he gifted me the up to the current expansion, the gifted me the game, and I got Red Mage, and that was such a huge game changer for me because like I went from like, yeah, this game's okay to like I really like this game now, and now it's become one of my favorite games. I love Final Fantasy 14. I just, I found a class I really enjoyed playing, and I stuck with it, and now like I experiment more with other classes, and like I've never had an MMO or like a game like that long where I'm going back to find new stuff to do. And there's so much like, if you want to find something to do, like even after, like I'm caught up on the story now. I played through all the campaigns.
Yeah, same.
And
I have not, and I love this fucking game.
You're still in Heaven's Word. Why?
I'm still
play
in.
the
Well, okay.
fucking game.
I just completed Heaven's Ward.
No, you didn't. You did not. You're not. If you're not in Stormblood, you haven't finished Heaven's Word.
All right. We always have there's always the meme with MMOs where it's like, no, it gets better. You just have to play fucking 700 hours to get to the good part. But like, it really does feel that way.
It's completely true. And like Sliver, if you got to there's a particular moment that it's a feast. There's a feast. Anyone who's played FF14 knows this feast. It's the
gamer feast.
The gamer feast.
Yeah. I was going to explain that one of our friends who has like 6,000 hours in Final Fantasy 14. I've looked at his Steam profile. It's 6,000 hours. He specifically refers to it as the gamer feast. We're not really sure why, but that's all we call it now.
It sticks. Everyone should call it the gamer feast.
Yeah, it's the gamer feast. But Sliver, I don't know, I would recommend at least getting to the gamer feast and doing a bit of Heaven's Word, because the story actually gets really good at that point. But whatever. It's not like a huge deal. And Kaz, I would recommend fucking playing the game. Piece of shit.
I'm a little fucking. Listen. I would be if I wasn't preoccupied with a certain project that will fucking dictate whether or not I eat pizza for the rest of 2021 right now. All right, like I'm a little preoccupied. But I want to say this about Final Fantasy 14 is that while everyone can kind of agree that it falls flat in its early stages, I understand it, and I feel like my fucking character actually matters, and I feel like I understand the way the world works, finishing up Heaven's Ward, and I had no idea what the fuck I was doing in WoW. I had no... I didn't feel like my character mattered. I felt like I was missing out on, like, fucking 20 years worth of stupid fucking lore books, and everyone's like, oh... there's so much lore for WoW. You just need to fucking read the wiki and fucking read these 7 books and fucking watch this online comic and fucking watch this dumb fuck animation and fucking constantly keep up with these fucking updates. With FF14, yes, it is unfortunately very annoying when you want to do dungeons and it is locked off by a story quest. But the pro of that is that you know what the fuck your character's doing. You know where your story stands you know where your character stands in the story, and because of that, like, it actually fucking feels like you're making a difference in this world. Especially in moments like the gamer feast. Oh man, like that's some quality shit right there.
That one's great. It's like a 2-hour cutscene. But it's pretty fucking amazing.
I will agree. Like,
there is no other 2-hour cutscene in that game, just so that everyone knows. It is the only one that does that.
ARR, I sleep. Gamer feast, I'm fucking wide awake. Like, this is fucking DEFCON 5. I am strapped in for whatever the fuck happens in Heaven's Ward. It was the best goddamn thing to happen to the narrative in that fucking game. Holy shit, Sliv, you need to get to the gamer feast.
Except you totally, like, I don't know, neutered the tension, I guess, of that. Because you completed the gamer feast You did it. You got to Heavensward, and then you were like, "Now I can't continue the story till my girlfriend catches up."
Gotta wait for my girlfriend.
And she still hasn't. You had to make like a new character, catch that character up to your girlfriend. Which I'm not sure you actually did.
I'm close. He's level 40. Freddy Fatfinger is level 40.
Pretty fat finger, yeah.
You fat thing.
Stupid lollipop piece of shit. Yeah, no, but you did not enter Heavensward for like several months basically after you completed the gamer fees, destroying like all tension in it at all.
Look, you can say I'm playing the fucking game the wrong way, and you're probably right.
I am
but I'm
right.
still enjoying myself. So
Yeah,
fuck
no.
off.
I don't mind too much. I just want to make sure you know you did it wrong.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Oh man, one thing I will say is that FF14 definitely brings out some hype in me. Like there are some moments that just like I very rarely get like super excited at a moment in a game. And I've had a few of them in Final Fantasy XIV going through the story. There are some really cool moments.
Can we talk about how this game borrowed off of Fliff's greatest achievement,
Shut up.
which is the music?
Shut the fuck. Okay, it
The
has
fucking
really.
music.
The
Play it
music in
here.
Final Fantasy
Play-
XIV is great.
Play a long fall right now. Right fucking now. Whoever the fuck is editing this video. That fucking song is sick. It doesn't matter if you play FF14 or not. Dude, before I even got anywhere in ARR, somebody linked me this fucking song and I was banging to it for like a solid fucking week. The music in this game is so fucking hype. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the twinning, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's the music is great. Who's the composer? Soken or something is his name?
I mean, the thing is, they have like a composer and then they have like their own fucking band or some shit
Well, yeah,
called
but,
the Sons and Sinners. I don't fucking know.
obviously the band gets a lot of credit for playing it, but really it's mostly Soken who wrote it, I guess. I believe that's his name. I'm not sure. And I think he's working on 16. I think he's part of the 16 team doing the music for it. So
Cool.
Thank God. And he's still working on Endwalker or whatever for 14 to my knowledge.
Rad.
So that's great. Love it. But yeah, what was I thinking? I had something to say about Final Fantasy 14 before you mentioned music, and I have somewhat forgotten it.
And it's gone.
It is gone. No. So I will say that dungeons in this, which is like your main 4-man content that you do quite a bit of, like they're mandatory for the story. You could ignore those in most other MMOs. You don't have to do them. They are mandatory in this game. It does force you to do group content, which I like. I like that, like, at one point it just says, you gotta team up with some people and do it. And you use the group finder because it's a modern MMO and they're not expecting you to, talk to people. Fuck that. Why would I ever talk to someone in an MMO? But the dungeons, a lot of them are just hallways with fights. That would be a big complaint I would have with them, is that they're super simple to the point of being a little brain dead most of the time. I tank in dungeons, and
You're right, bro. Every dungeon should be a shithole.
no, obviously not. No,
Hey,
dungeon
watch
should be that.
out, Sliv. I'm gonna pull 5.
Listen,
I'm
I
gonna
pull.
pull the entire dungeon. Have fun.
Time it is!
Okay, well, one in like late stage dungeons, most people want to pull wall to wall, so I'm going to do that. I shouldn't do it in early dungeons when I have new healers, but I still do.
You make me sweat.
Pull the
You
whole
like
dungeon,
testing me, you
only has
asshole.
tier 1.
Rin, if you're not sweating, you're not healing.
All
Yeah,
you
sometimes
have
I
is
just-
tier 1. What can I do?
Sometimes I just take AoEs to make Rin heal me. It's a test.
You bastard.
Come on, can you benediction fast enough? I bet you can't.
I still use my defensive cooldowns though, so I'm not being that much of a dick.
You did say one time you weren't going to, and I couldn't keep up.
Well, no. I used my defensive cooldowns. I just purposely stood in every AoE.
Oh, okay.
That was
Even
what I did
better.
there.
You're such a bastard.
Yeah, no, at a certain point I just had to leave an AoE because I knew it wasn't going to work.
I didn't know.
It's just not that
You were
good.
supposed to tank, not floor tank, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah, that's true.
But- Yeah, no, like I tank dungeons, and for the most part, it's just grab group, stand at a wall and hit them, and avoid AoEs. Unless I'm with Bryn, then it's stand. But yeah, no. And I will say that would be an issue, is that they're not very complex. It's just run straight. The bosses in them can be actually fairly complex and have cool mechanics, and I do like that. Way better than most WoW bosses and just normal dungeons, which are just hit them a lot. You actually have to know the fight sometimes. Not always. Most dungeons you can do pretty easily without, like, knowing going in. Trials and stuff, which are just big boss fights. Trials and raids. You should probably look them up a little bit first. Know what the hell you're doing before you go in. So, yeah, I've done, like, the newest raid tier, the Eden raid. I have not done the Savage version. I'm not sure I want to do the Savage version. I don't want to, like, get in a static or whatever and, like, really grind it out. But I've done, like, the normal tier of it, and they're pretty fun, and I enjoy them, and I like going into them every now and then. And they have fun mechanics. You actually have to know what you're doing and kind of understand what part of the fight you're in. Yeah, no, it's good. I like it. I wish other MMOs had as interesting a boss fights as those, even though pretty much it's always just dodge AoEs. You just need to know what the AoEs are doing.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, Final Fantasy XIV is also one of those experiences where I've done, like, I generally would avoid some content and like most any other game, I've gotten into a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise. Like, I started the Near Raid tier, and it was horrifying. And I did it with you.
You did it with me. We both DPS'd that one. So
We both DPS.
Neither of us were doing anything particularly important, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. I mean, I like the Near raids. I haven't done the
Yeah.
first one a lot. I've done the second one a decent number of times. You have not done the second part of it, and you
I
should.
need to do the second part still.
You also need to do the entire Eden.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do. There's just so much to do that I just
Yeah.
I end up jumping all over the place.
I would focus down like one of the probably the Eden one, just because it's it's 12 boss fights essentially.
Mhm.
And actually has stuff. The Near one, you're just gonna go through some story cutscenes, then do the raid, and then you're done. But the Eden stuff is fun, and I would definitely redo all the fights with you. I'm still subbed because I was gonna unsub, and I went to bed. And I was like, tomorrow I'm gonna unsub to make sure it doesn't roll over or anything. I wake up and I get an email saying, yeah, we've already charged your account. I was like, shit, damn it. Now I've got 30 more days, and I'm playing a different MMO.
No.
I mean, whatever. I always have it installed. So.
Right now I'm working on just like doing the company stuff, because I'm building like my platoon and everything. And I'm actually having a bit more fun with that than I thought I would. It takes way too much time though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. What was it? In Shadowbringers, there's the trust system, which is cool. I liked it. It allowed you to do dungeons with like AI teammates, just like the platoons, but it was like the story people. But then once you're done, it's like, okay, now we've fully unlocked the trust system for you. You got to level up these characters. So these characters that I was just allowed to do the final dungeon with are now like level 70, and I have to like go to the first dungeon and level them up. And it was like, what is this? It also takes forever. You got to do like each dungeon like 3 times to get them to the next one. I'm like, I don't want to do this. This takes way too long. It sucks. They're also not that fast. Like, the AI teammates kind of suck.
Yeah, you couldn't do like a wall-to-wall pull with the AI teammates unless you want to just die.
Well, yeah, then and they just
time it's not.
And they just don't do that great of damage. I've done a few trust dungeons and it's not worth it. Even if you're playing DPS, it's somewhat better to just wait for other people while you do, I don't know, your beast tribes for the day.
I mean, I did do a lot of the dungeons in the trust system. And
Coward.
it was yeah, I'm a coward, but like I didn't want to wait, and I just wanted to keep progressing, and like that was the only way I could maintain progression.
The main time I did one was it was late at night, and I was just like, I want to do this dungeon and go to bed, so I did it in a trust, so I didn't have to wait at all. Because even as a tank, it was taking me a while to get in.
Yeah, because we've had bad luck sometimes with queue
we had the
times.
worst luck. We had like a 20-minute queue to get into the near range at one point. I was like, what the hell is this?
Or like there was one I had to do one of the trials, and like it was like estimated wait time for us was like 5 minutes, and we waited for like 2 hours and just logged off and went to bed.
It was definitely not 2 hours. It was 30 minutes probably, but yeah.
It was a ridiculous amount of time because we were both like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, what is this? I forget what trial that was. I remember I was in Stormblood at the time, but
yeah, I was still in AR. I was still in AR.
Then
I was one of the hard primals.
Yeah, I think it was Ifrit Hard, maybe?
Yeah, Ifrit Hard.
I'll guess it was that. Let's say it was. It doesn't matter.
I'm like 90% sure that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's sometimes our queuing is weirdly long and it sucks, and I don't know why. God. But yeah, it has a good crafting system. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to know how it works because I don't really like crafting, but I know it's good.
I like it. It's got different skills and shit that you learn by leveling up.
Listen, all I do is quicksynth. I just quicksynth to get to the next level.
Fair.
One of our friends, again, the 6,000 hour guy, he loves craft. He's so into it. I think he made real money selling people like the newest set of like armor so they could, finish the new Savage raid as fast as possible.
Fucked.
Like the guy spent real money to like buy the set from our friends. I was like, what? Damn. I mean, that's cool. Technically probably not allowed by the terms of service somewhere, but whatever. I'm not telling anyone's name.
I was going to say, you are telling everyone, but you're not saying who it is.
Oh, God, no. But yeah, there's no proof. I don't know if he was even telling the truth. He could have been lying about that. I don't know. But yeah, no, some people are crazy, weird. I don't get it. But no. There's also, I don't really know what it was. There's the whole foundation, the firmament thing going on right now, which was this big like crafting group quest where you had to like rebuild a city. And it was like every world had its own firmament to rebuild, and it was basically a race between them all to do it faster than anyone else. Which was funny because the Japanese servers finished like all of theirs before a single North American one finished. Japanese really like crafting, apparently. North Americans don't care as much. I think the last one just finished, which is funny because I remember this, like, people have been saying, hey, we finished for like months. But, whatever. Well, not months, but like 2 maybe.
Anyway, FF14's pretty rad.
Yeah, I think we have covered that, Kaz. I think we've definitely covered that it's good. The various reasons that it is pretty good.
If I was not working on a video, on a project, I'd definitely be playing it. Fuck you, I go at my own pace. All right.
So when are we getting
Gentlemen,
into Fallout 76, guys?
Oh, God.
No.
Not an MMO.
You know what? Actually, now that he
No.
mentioned that, I'm not going to talk about Fallout 76. I am somewhat curious as to what Elder Scrolls Online is like, because that is still going and it has a player base. And I don't know anything about it.
All I know is that Skyrim is a region.
Well, no fucking
So
shit.
we can finally go back to Skyrim, boys.
Go back to Skyrim.
Oh shit, Todd, are you gonna help us by buying us some copies of Skyrim?
He's not going to help us buy copies.
Maybe we'll point us in the right direction.
Yeah,
Hey Todd, when's Skyrim for Fridge coming out?
it's already out.
We're not talking about Skyrim. We're talking about Elder Scrolls Online. I'm curious because Elder Scrolls has always been it's generally, especially in the last one like Skyrim, a no class thing. Like you don't really have a class. You level up by using things. And I'm curious to see if does Elder Scrolls Online do that? Or does it have like a normal class system?
Well, I don't know. If it didn't have a class system, I think everyone would just end up being stealth archers anyway, so...
Well, it also, if it has MMO like combat, then the stealth archer wouldn't... Stealth archer is good in Skyrim because Skyrim's combat sucks. So the best way to play it is to avoid combat like the plague and just shoot people from a range and stealth.
I mean, I figure if nobody has a class, then what they'd do is they'd give the dual wield ability to the person with the best reaction time, and there would only be one person with that, and they'd be very, very special.
Okay, so I'm looking up on the wiki. They do have classes. But they only have like 6. So I'm feeling like, is this a thing where like you don't choose it from the beginning? It's a thing that you unlock when you like max out certain skills, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, it's probably a bit of both. I'm not sure how it works. I don't really care. But I mean, I do care because I'm mildly curious, but I don't think I'm going to be playing this game anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to get into Skyrim 2 anytime soon myself. I'm probably just gonna coast it with Final Fantasy 14 for a while, especially with that new expansion coming out.
Yeah, the new expansion. Okay.
New melee DPS, very interested. Whether it's a hammer or a scythe, I'm down either way. I've warmed up to sides.
Or if it's something totally fucking
out there. Fuck it. Show me a cool weapon, I'm down.
I would be a stupid piece of shit and fucking try out Otro again.
You just complained about it for like...
I know, but now... 20 minutes! But now I want to play it again. God damn.
Oh no.
Fuck me.
Complain about Final Fantasy 14 for 20 minutes, please.
We fucking turned him. He started this podcast saying MMORPGs aren't for him, and he kind of just isn't into them. And we're ending it with him saying, lol, I'm gonna go play Lotro.
He's going to play one, but the wrong one.
The wrong one.
Are you gonna play it on the fucking Epic launcher, bro?
No, I think I'm gonna play...
you were talking about before?
I think I might play Star Wars: The Old Republic trademark LucasArts on the Epic Film Launcher thing.
Oh, I forgot about Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah.
That was mostly just a WoW clone in terms of its combat and like gameplay, I believe. I don't know much about it. I also know it tanked incredibly.
Oh yeah.
I did hear that Star Trek Online was actually pretty good though.
I have yeah, sure. I think I've heard good things about it. I don't know much. But yeah, Old Republic, is it still active? Can you still play it?
Active.
Oh my god. Guys, when
No
video idea. We play Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Let's do it.
Oh god.
Why are we not doing that for a video? How many years later? Star Wars: The Old Republic, 5 years later, whatever the fuck it came out. I don't know when.
My guy, I would sooner get back into Fliff again than play fucking Star
But
Wars.
you want to get back into Fliff. That's the issue.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, gents.
This isn't for enjoyment. This
10 years later.
This is pure agony.
This is for the
All right.
content.
All right,
The
gents.
content, boys.
We're going into speculation territory about MMOs we've never played. Does anyone have any other MMOs they've played, sunk a bit of time into, that they'd like to talk about before we wrap this up?
I played like 2 hours of Neverwinter, and that was okay.
I have also played a similar amount of time in Neverwinter. It was pretty good. I don't know what happened to it. We had one friend that got really into it more than any of us.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think he said that like it went to shit or something, but I don't remember. We'd have to talk to him about it. Yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I played a trial version of Black Desert Online, because that was back when I think it had a sub fee. I'm not sure if it ever did. I could be totally wrong about that. But I got like a 2-week trial code from a friend who bought the game for real, so it was probably something like that. And I played it. It's kind of fun, I guess. I don't really know what you do in the game outside of, just kill mobs and complete quests. Like, I don't know if there's any like real like instance interesting content. Well, the combat's like it's an action MMO more than it is anything else. So like it's not just like tab target, press 1, press 2, press 5 kind of thing. You
A
actually
lot of
have...
just.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, I thought you were finished with your point. Sorry.
No, okay, yeah, I kind of was. I was just saying that like, you actually like press buttons and do like combos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You go with whatever the fuck you want to say. Interrupting asshole.
I'm sorry, you were silent for like 30 seconds. Okay. There are a lot of MMOs that just sort of existed and faded away into nothing. I mean, we spent all this time talking about all these different ones, and then like, there are probably like 100 times more that like had a website up in 2005 and had probably like a couple hundred people, or like maybe even just one person out there that like has this fond memory of like medieval adventure online RPG game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird to think about, like all these games that, a lot of them were chasing WoW's coattails, and like they just
canned in the process
they just don't, yeah, and they just don't exist anymore. Like there's hardly even evidence that some of these games existed.
I remember.
And like occasionally you'll see someone mention this game, and it'll be like, "Oh yeah, it was so good."
I can't believe we went through the entirety of talking about FF14 without even mentioning that our fucking guild's name is Fliff.
Oh yeah. Our free company is
company name's Fliff because we wanted to get back into Fliff.
Yeah, we got back into Fliff at the end of the day.
Also, we were allowed like 5 characters, so it was just perfect.
And when we said, "Hey, you can join Fliff, you can join our free
No, you can't. No one joins the free company.
High key though. Oh, yeah, no.
I remember
also
playing this spin-off game that was actually affected by the actual game. So, you had EVE Online, Space Terrorist Economy Simulator 2003. And then you had this spin-off game that was freeware for PS3 that was a first-person shooter, but it also took place in the MMO universe, but you were like a peon in like the grand scheme of things, because you're just like extendable soldier number blankety blank blank. And it's like, oh, okay. But why? Why does like the terrorist market simulator, the game, have a first-person shooter fucking spin-off game thing?
I mean, it's kind of neat that you would have these 2 games that are totally different but actually interact. Like, doing well in the first-person shooter would positively affect something in the MMO is kind of neat. I kind of like that as a concept, even if it's a bit weird.
Hold on, is that speculation on your part, or was that actually a thing?
No,
I believe
that's actually a thing.
Yeah, that's what
neat.
the game was. That was
really
that was
cool.
the point of the first-person shooter. It's like a neat concept that I kind of like.
Yeah.
I think that first-person shooter sucked, to my knowledge. I don't know anything about
it
it.
wasn't very good, but it wasn't bad.
So yeah, I'm assuming that's why most people just don't even think about that portion of EVE. EVE is a funny one. I've never played EVE. I don't want to. But occasionally I hear the funny stories of like a literal like assassin's guild exists in it, and they take contracts and murder people for cash.
I remember this one story, what was it, like 7-8 years ago at this point, where someone spent like 2 years of their life gaining the trust of one of the highest fucking ranking factions in the game and defrauded them trillions in in-game currency.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and like the currency in Eve has like technically real-world value in a lot of cases, because I think people easily just generally trade real money for Eve money, because people really like that game. But yeah, no, I remember like one story was like some assassin, like, they called themselves basically an assassin's guild. They received like a contract to kill this person and to like completely remove all of their money, just like make them broke. And it just ended up being like one of the biggest heists ever, and they took over like half the corporation's like assets in this whole thing. It wouldn't, the only thing that the contractor wanted was the dead body. They just wanted the frozen body of the person in question. They didn't care about any of the assets. They just let the guild keep it. And apparently, stealing people's bodies is considered a dick move in Eve, because when you do that, you steal all their implants and stuff, and those are expensive. So by doing that, the person had to spawn a fresh clone, which still has all their stats and stuff, but it doesn't have any of their like robotic implants, so they lost a lot. Get fucked.
Get bent.
Yeah, the main thing I always hear about Eve is that, like, well, if you get into it, that's it. That's your life now. Like,
Hey, I mean, if they enjoy it, cool.
yeah.
It's a really neat thing. I like reading about Eve. I'm never gonna fucking play
Yeah,
it.
I can't sell my soul to that devil.
It's
But
a
it
lot
seems
of
really
sounds-
interesting.
Yeah, a lot of it sounds boring as sin and not fun, but like the stories you hear from it are really neat and interesting. Weird, lots of like corporate espionage going on, backstabbing, like actual slavery in some portions somehow.
What in the fuck have we fucking walked into on this podcast?
Eve is a funny thing to read about. Whenever I hear a story about like some big thing that happened in it, I read it immediately because I'm like, I need to know what the fuck is going on.
You need to know the deep lore.
The economy
The
in that
deep
game,
lore of Eve real life.
yeah, the
This is the
economy in
MMO,
that game,
gentlemen. Eve is the real shit.
yeah. Oh, sorry, as I've been trying to say, but keep getting interrupted. The economy in that game is actually so like intricate that the company who runs it actually has to hire financial analysts to keep track of the game's economy to make sure that weird shit doesn't happen. Well, nothing super weird, because weird shit happens in Eve all the time. People just steal each other's shit.
Time to
It's-
crash the intergalactic stock market.
Yeah. Well, because it's because it's a game, it's essentially just total capitalism with zero morals. Because it's a game, so the morals don't matter, right? Like, it's all make believe. Who gives a shit? So people will do the most dickbag moves just to make the most money, because who gives a shit? I mean, the people playing give a shit because it's money, but like, there's no repercussions. Like, no one can punish you for being an asshole in Eve and stealing people's cash, because everyone's stealing each other's cash. It's really cool. Never playing it. Fuck that. We got anything else, or are we going to talk about Adventure Quest or something? The shitty.
Is Adventure Quest actually an MMO?
It's marketed as.
I know it is, and that was always. I actually thought about it the other day in the shower, because that's the best place to think about Adventure Quest.
Ah, yes, scrubbing my asshole. I wonder how Adventure Quest is holding up right about
Is it
now.
really an
Is it
MMO?
really an MMO? Just popped in my head. I'm just like, wow. I remember Adventure Quest, and I remember people said it said it was an MMO, and it was just like 2D like generic RPG battles, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I think you could battle other people, maybe, and that was where the MMO came in, but I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I do believe there was like a secondary Adventure Quest game that actually was kind of like you would see other players on screen. doing things, but I don't know anything about it. Is like that game sucks, and I didn't play it for very long.
Look, man, if I'm fucking investing fucking hundreds of hours into a game, I'm not doing it with a game with a fucking Flash aesthetic. I can't, man. I just can't.
You're right.
The game
Flash
looks really
got shut
cheap.
down, bro.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm sure the programs will get good. It can play Flash videos right now. Maybe it'll eventually be able to play Flash games. I'm not sure how. It's not important because this is an MMO talk.
Okay, gentlemen,
Insert
was
link to
Club
Flash video.
Club
God.
Penguin an MMO?
Technically, yeah, I guess.
Was what?
Club
Club
Penguin.
Penguin.
Technically.
I like how like Rin is super excited about this, and me and Kaz are just like, "Fuck the hell off with your Club Penguin."
As a
bullshit."
I don't,
Hey,
I
just
don't even
didn't
care
give
about
a
it, but
fuck.
I'm
No,
actually.
you're so ecstatic about talking about Club Penguin, Rin. You're so
Sorry,
ecstatic.
man. It's all you. I wanted to do cool shit as a kid. Fuck being a dumbass penguin and collecting your dumbass Club Penguin trading cards or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Finding different codes online and fucking customizing your penguin's dick, okay? I don't give a fuck. As a kid, I just wanted to play some goddamn flip.
Yeah, sorry.
But
There's
yeah,
sorry,
two-
go
Rin.
ahead.
There's
Talk
two
about Club
types of
Penguin. What's
people:
up?
the Virgin Club Penguin player and the Chad Flip player.
Look, I will
Chad
admit,
Flip
the
enjoyer.
one cool thing that's ever happened in Club Penguin is flipping that fucking iceberg.
The Flip connoisseur.
Yeah.
I will admit that thing that happened was pretty fucking based, and I'm sure it was a trip to be at it near the end. But I don't know, man. It's just like a chill little nothing kids Neopets thing, kinda. I don't fucking know. What the fuck would you even describe Club Penguin as?
It's basically just a chat room with many.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a
pretty much
chat
what it
room. It's a chat room with exclusively pedophiles, is what you're saying.
was.
And
Truly.
that's getting cut.
Well, it's nothing compared to Habbo Hotel, let's be real here. If you can't block the
Ooh.
pool, then what's
Yeah.
the point?
Just
can't-
also.
The pool
boy.
can't be closed in fucking Club Penguin. Oh man. Also, fuck off. That's not an MMO.
It's an MMO. If Club
Me a
Penguin's
tank.
an MMO.
It's not a fucking RPG, my guy.
Well,
It's a
MMO
role-playing
just
game.
means
You're role
MMO just means massively multiplayer on. The RPG is the additional thing. Although for the most part, we've only talked about MMORPGs here. We don't really care about the rest. One could argue something like Warframe is an MMO because it has a lot of players. It's that descriptor is actually really bad. It only works with the RPG part because most RPGs are like single player things.
Yeah.
So, or at least video games. So, MMORPG makes sense because it's an online RPG with a lot of players. Honestly, the two M's are not necessary. Actually, it could just be called an ORPG, an online RPG, and it would make the same amount of sense. But whatever. No, but
Yeah,
no.
that's why Sword Art Online doesn't have a massive
No.
multiplayer. It's implied that everyone's playing that bitch.
Fucking, I hate that anime. I hate that. We all hate that anime.
No, but Kaz, like,
No,
how,
wait,
how,
no,
how,
stop.
no, Nameless man, I'm
But
finishing
how many
my thought
times do you think
process.
Kirito used Keen Wheel?
No. Sword Art Online isn't an MMO because, you know, not a lot of people are playing it by the end, you know? On account of...
Is that your
Oh.
death sound effect?
Yes.
That's your test.
Can,
Well,
can we record that and use it for future? Okay, come on, man. No, there was a fuck ton of people still playing it by the end.
Yeah, but a fuck ton of
They had
people,
all-
like, probably like 90% of their player base was dead. Let's be
No
real.
way, man. If you actually fucking watch the shitty fucking show, which I still regret doing, there's like giant towns full of fucking people who in like the lower levels that are safe from monsters that are fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are still dead.
Okay, anyway, I don't...
It's not 90 fucking percent.
It's definitely close.
No.
I would have to look up the death count, and I don't want to look up anything related to Sword Art.
Somebody
but I will,
post the death count on screen right now.
I will say that Sword Art is a terrible MMO. I don't want to play that game.
But I have the fastest reaction time, and I've fought somebody in a parking lot, so I definitely get the dual wield ability.
The sheer fact that there are skills that are exclusive to a single player instantly makes the game garbage. Why would you do that? I could maybe understand giving a player like a special cosmetic item that only they have for, like, I don't know, doing something very special. But don't give someone an ability that is really powerful that no one else can use. That's fucking awful.
But it's Kirito
Kirito
and Aosuka. Whatever the fuck her name was. Fuck it. They got married too. I'm just like them. I'm just like Kirito. That's
like
what
Kirito.
FF14 is. I'm living out my SAO fantasy. Oh god. I want to die. Let's wrap up this shit, shall we?
Alright, so from what
Shall
I
we give it a
Show of SAO.
from what I've researched, 3,853 people died.
Okay, how many players were there total?
10,000.
Okay.
So it was about a third.
90%, but still.
It wasn't even close to 90%. It was a fucking third.
Still, if 1/3 of your player base fucking dies, like, that's a fucking shame, innit?
No shit! It's a fucking shame if anyone dies playing a goddamn MMO. What the fuck are you on about?
Hey, well, think about it. That's still probably better player retention than Star Wars The Old Republic has.
Ayo.
And I'm pretty sure, like, at least 90%.
SAO.
I'm pretty sure at least 90% of the people that played Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 wanted to die.
Oh yeah, we never talked about 1.0 for Final Fantasy XIV.
Fuck 1.0.
Well, 1.0 just sucked. Everyone said it sucked. Everyone hated it.
There's not much to say. It's just,
but I
there's
do-
agreed upon that it's a garbage game.
I do love that when they ended 1.0, they literally just had like a giant cataclysm happen.
Yep.
It's a really
Fucking
cool
rad.
way to end it.
Yeah, that is so cool. Although I will say there's almost something, and it might be just because we can no longer experience it, but like watching old footage of 1.0, there's almost something mystical about it. Like, it looks terrible, but like
I'd
there's
agree
almost
with that.
something like there's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's just so similar but so different at the same time. It's so interesting to see where the game started. And by extension, it makes it really weird to look at any footage of Final Fantasy XI.
Yeah.
Which I believe is actually mechanically similar. It is very dated, but there's apparently still people playing it.
Yeah. No, it is. It's weird that there's just some MMO that just will not go away, such as 14 and the original Guild Wars. Not that I really want them to go. Not 14. Sorry, 11 and the original Guild Wars. 14 is sticking around for a little while.
Yeah.
It's weird that they're still going. I'm not sure, like, how big the player base is. I think it's cool that they're still around and that the people who play them can still play them.
Understanding 11's still getting story content.
Yeah, I know. I would just expect them to have been dead by now. Like, stop.
Yeah.
What? But, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know, like, seeing some of the people that, like, play 11, apparently there's, like, people that are super dedicated to it, even to this day, that are just, like, playing it every day and just have all those macros, like, to muscle memory. Because you need macros to play the game, because it's just so many menus. And everything's in action.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to look at that and also to see where we're at now in comparison. It is just so wild.
On one hand, I have to, like, sort of almost shake my head when I think of dedicating, like, my life to a fucking video game. On the other, I have like 100 hours in Deep Rock Galactic. and we bought that game like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
nothing. That's actually nothing because I had like 400 hours. Final Fantasy 14 in like the 3 months after we got back into it. Like,
Yeah, you pretty much lived on that game for a while.
oh man, well, I was unemployed at the time and getting paid by the government for Corona existing. So I played it nonstop. I burned through everything. I overtook Kaz, especially because he took his massive girlfriend-inspired break. And no one ever caught up to me because I'm, caught up. It took a while for you to, but
Yeah.
Girlfriend inspired. This one goes out to you, babe.
Thanks.
But most of all, this one goes out to Duke Thunderclap.
Dude. Why do I feel like he's not clapping with his hands?
He probably isn't. He's just making that gesture. The clap just happens. You hear it.
I was just going to assume he was dummy thick. But...
Oh, true. My bad.
Yeah, there we go.
All of the above. All right, gents.
I'm so dummy thick my ass cheeks
Forming,
start
he's
clapping
the
and
winning reception.
aggroing all the enemies.
Best tank ever.
This ass deserves to be celebrated.
It's a national treasure.
All right. I say let's wrap this up. We're already at about 2 hours. God damn.
That is a good place.
We're doing it. We're expanding our time.
Oh God, no.
3-hour podcast is coming, boys.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, let's wrap things up here. As always, it's been fun. We've had a good time. We hope you've had a good time too. If you did, consider liking or subscribing or checking us out on twitter.com/THNDRCLUB. We're also on twitch.tv/Thunderclub. I am Rin, and with me has been Kaznarius.
May Duke Thunderclap clap upon you.
Sliv. And as always, our unnamed guest.
Seriously, help me. Get me away from you guys. I don't want to be here.
And we are out of here.
Bye.
Bitch.